Hello, it is Matt, and we're going to do a funnel review with Mr. Ben Kaplan today. So, why don't you tell everybody your business, what you do, your revenue level type thing, and then we can get started.
Yeah, so we run No Accent Callers where we help real estate wholesalers, flippers, investors, listing agents, solar companies, roofing companies generate high quality leads through cold calling at a fraction of the cost without like the thick foreign accents that turn away prospects. So the company's only been live for about one full year. As a year and a month ago today, I was a wagey and I was cold calling, and we went from around zero to $200,000 of monthly revenue within the first 12 months, pretty much all organically through social media, word of mouth, and a lot of referrals and partnerships. Now we're at the point now where we have our bearings, the systems are dialed in. It's time to scale in terms of multiple sides of marketing.
Okay, so in this thing, we'll go over a few different things. We'll just go over your offer just to get the price point for the viewers. We'll go kind of the click to close. So when someone clicks on your ad to the landing page, to the sign up, to the thank you page, and then we'll talk about the sales process. And that should be good for today. So, what is your exact offer? If someone comes to you and wants to buy, what do they get for what price?
So,
On
we
average, perhaps.
so this is the offer sheet right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but what they're getting is a cold caller who has real estate experience. They're getting the power dialer. They're getting 15,000 records of homeowner data, pulled and skip trace every single month. We do the training, we do the management. You get a free Go High level CRM, 25-hour course, private Discord where we do additional training, and then access to a software to help for dispositions. And in terms of what the service looks like per one caller, month to month, 3,100 a month, 4 month contract, 1,699 a month, 6 month, 1,375 a month. And the more callers someone gets for the longer duration, lower the price per caller gets. So this is what it looks like for 2 callers. This is a normal package. Everything just gets doubled. 3 callers and 4 callers.
Is that typically normal for people? Like if they get 2 to 4 callers?
Yeah, it's normal for 1 to 2. I would probably say that's around 75 to 80 percent of the people booking onto the calendar. But we have a good percentage that gets 3 and 4. Then our biggest has around 45.
I see. I got it. So we need the whale clients as well.
Oh yeah.
So let me share my screen a little bit here if you can. So I'm going to pull up mine. And realistically, what we're trying to do here today is we're going to probably go and focus on our paid ads, maybe our content a little, maybe the outreach a little and partnerships a little, but we're going to basically see what it looks like going down to the lead capture form, what the funnels look like, what the email flows look like, perhaps a newsletter and some appointment setting, and perhaps see if we can find any other ideas to make this more efficient. Just because of the nature of this business, for example, probably not going to be referring too many people away. That's going to be a significant part of the business, anyways. Probably not going to have a course or a program, just how it works. A lot of the more normal agencies will do something like that, but we're just going to go through it one at a time. So I've pulled up a lot of his links here, and then he has his internal stuff like his ad manager and his email flows and his CRM, which will provide us some additional insights. So let's get started because Ben really wants to scale up with paid ads. That's what if we're going to hit those $1 million a month or more, we're probably going to need to really figure this out. So we have obviously the ClickFunnels clone website. Love that. I've pulled up some of the other industries at the top, some of the about us, testimonials, that kind of stuff. First thing I always go over is the search results, just because a lot of people will see your ad or they click on a cold email or they'll view your content, whether that's written or video, and they're going to basically Google you. So the more things we can get to show up here, the better, and as well as optimizing some of our search results. Like we gotta manage this Reddit one here, for example. You gotta get a trust pilot going. We might have to get a school group going. We might have to get all of this kind of stuff going. That when they click on it, they're going to get a first impression one way or the other, and it's either going to be good and it's going to be bad. So if they click onto our no accent colors page, let's just say someone's clicked on the ad, they're doing their research. Not much to go off of here. We've got probably want to get a cover photo similar to let's just a personal profile, but similar to like what you do here with, click here or book a call or something like that. Same on the Instagram. We might want to just get either some pinned posts or something like that that kind of show what you do. Same with the, I think they're called highlights here. Just nothing too crazy, but just showing what it's going to be and who it's going to be for is going to do a good job for you. Same on YouTube. Probably want to fill it out. Probably might want to take
This is
YouTube more seriously.
this is not the right YouTube. This
This
is
is not the right
actually
YouTube.
this is actually my old boss who, when I quit, they didn't like that I went and started my business, and they made a fake YouTube about us.
That's
So
classic.
there's some AI videos that they've put. If you actually listen to some of these, you realize that they're not real and that no real business would ever be posting it. So
Got it.
yeah,
I
if you want
think,
to go,
yeah.
the original one is the official no accent callers. We have some
Let's see.
testimonials there, and then I have my personal YouTube as well.
Got it. I think on like especially with this stuff, because if they Google your business name and it comes up, like I saw on your website, for example, and I think this is very good. We have some of the recordings of
Mm-hmm.
people on it. I think like stacking this, if you're not going to post anything on, like your official one will be testimonials as well as like maybe alternating between them. When you don't have enough testimonials, you'll have like some of these. And I would get just, it doesn't have to be sick or anything, but just like even to be consistent, just like the same thumbnail every time across all of them, because we want to look like we are very professional. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is a very big deal for ads, like, and it's a lot stuff that a lot of people don't really focus on or do anything. Same with just the cover photo, just like this is good stuff right here. I think your Twitter is going to be the best one, but not a lot of people don't really understand or know or put any attention, especially if they're running Facebook ads, especially if they're running Instagram ads and stuff like that. That the more followers, the more engagement, anecdotally speaking, across 500 million plus of ad spend is going to get you a lot more or a lot cheaper CPM and a lot better CPM. So it's going to be worth making content here if you want. And if you think you're going to really skill up your ads, it's almost going to be a must, in my opinion. So let's go to your ad library because we just started running ads. So we're going to see some of them. And what I want to really do is a few things. Like one is going to be the, we'll call it the congruency. Two is going to be the hook. And then the third is going to be the body. So I think you recorded these with like, you have a body and then you have a bunch of different hooks on the
Yeah.
beginning.
So the ones with me, we tested out 4 different hooks, and the body is the same for all of them.
Got it. And then if we go to our website, because people are going to be presumably clicking through to our website, we want to make sure that's congruent as well. And we're going to look at this on desktop, and then we're going to look at it on the actual, if we like inspect it and go to get a general thing about the mobile. But let's go to the ads. Let's go and see what we think, and then you'll share your screen and we'll put in the actual, like what the numbers are saying.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these go to this landing page, is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good. And like when you, in your sales calls and like when you're explaining people, is there something that really works in terms of like explaining it to them? Like the top 3 bullet points or just like a headline or a one-liner type thing?
Can you clarify your question?
Like, is this really like when you're on sales calls, is this what you kind of say to people? Like, we have affordable foreign callers that have no accents?
No, I always talk about the system, and it's in one of my YouTube videos where a good cold calling campaign is a pyramid. At the bottom, the most important data. You have bad data, you're calling broken phones, disconnected lines, people who aren't the homeowners. Doesn't matter how good everything else is, you're going to have a bad campaign. Then you have the phone system and then the skills of the caller. So it's not talking about costs at all. It's about the system that we put in place that predictably generates, motivated seller leads across a bunch of people.
Okay. And do you think you've done a good job at reflecting what you say on the sales call, like throughout your funnels and emails and websites? Or
So
no?
for the website, no, because we don't just primarily do real estate. we, do a bunch of industries. So the core thesis of what we do is great overseas sales talent that doesn't have these crazy foreign accents. So that's what the main website's for. But when you kind of get niche down in terms of the funnels and the automations leading up to the calls, we do niche it down more.
And they get different stuff based on what niche they're in, or no?
Exactly. Yep.
Got it. So let's take a look at some of these bad boys.
So yeah, just to also clarify, the only funnel that we are running paid traffic to in our predominant funnel is this real estate one. That's our bread and butter. That's what we know best. That is probably what's going to have the most unique information.
Sounds good. Got it. So if we look at it, let's look at some of the videos first. So this is just somebody you hired to do
No,
UGC?
no, this is actually one of our first testimonials. So
Okay,
he actually came to us and he is an influencer and he scaled his business with us. And, he refers a bunch of people over right now and he shot this for us.
got it. And then this one is going to be you.
Yep.
And these are going to be you. And this is going to be the same guy, except
Yep.
just a different one?
Yep.
Got it. Got it. Let's go and look at some of these. So this is a pretty good angle, like a lot of people will use with these kind of things, because when you look at your ad account later, we'll see where it's going inside the feed versus stories versus the explore page versus reels. And there's a few differences between the two. Like, for example, the biggest difference between the two in terms of how your ads work are one plays with sound automatically and in the feed they don't. So like that's a very big important thing when you're actually making these ads. So I'm not sure if it's going to record the sound on this in the actual recording here for the video, but we'll see. So
I
the
think you got
first thing that we have to
to share
do,
it.
and I would probably edit this back onto this person, is basically if we have to, if we want to be doing this, we basically want to um, put subtitles here, just in case, because this is going to be put into both the feed and the explore page and reels, and we really need and stories, and we really need to know his chin. Maybe just actually put something in there. You could use there's a bunch of apps for it, or you could just do it manually. Just some like white, nice looking captions. Because if this plays in the feed, 99%, well, let's be realistic, about 90% of people aren't going to even unmute it, and they probably don't have any clue what he's saying. And especially if they don't know who this is, like that's going to be not very good, right? Another thing that I would do right away in like the first few seconds here, like a lot of people are going to talk about usually like what they're going to call, like most people are going to call it a verbal hook or just a hook. But especially in these, we also kind of want to have a visual hook. So a lot of it is going like this is a decent visual hook here, but we can even put another one like back here, for example, that really gets people in. So like let's say your hook is, do you want more leads or something? For do you need more real estate leads? Or are you a real estate broker or wholesaler looking for more leads? You'd have like here 3 to 7 words, more leads for like brokers or something. And then you can just put leads in like a different color to like kind of bold it and make it more powerful. And then you might have just like a bunch of money in the background. Like a very good person to follow for this kind of stuff, and because it applies to content and like these kind of ads are more like content, right? So this is a really good guy to follow for this. I can't remember, he made a video about it. um I'll find it after if I can't find it now. But having all of that kind of stuff, or you usually have like a statement, you usually have like a power word is how most people will describe it. Like, so in this case, secret here is the power word. So like I imagine the hook for this video will be like, do you want to know the guru's secret to go viral or something? And now he has this thing with his power word, and then he has like a visual hook. So in this case, it's Hermosi. Most people, when they're teaching it to you, and I think this guy as well, say like you either need to draw credibility from someone that's more famous than you. You need to give them like an idea of what they're going to learn in this video, like this. Things turn one idea into 7 hooks is an idea basically, or you do like a before versus after type thing where you can just do that, right? So this one, he's drawing credibility from Trump, more famous than him, what he's going to learn, something like that. And that's very important in these kind of ads, especially that are going to be in the feed, because people who are in the feed or in story or in the reels or stories or the explore page are more like going to be looking for this type of content versus just polished ads more. And you're going to go from like, I don't know, like, we'll review your like hook rates and stuff earlier, but normal people get 10, 20% to 50 to 60% if you have it like that. Another thing too, maybe we'll get some different testimonials of different like demographics, for example, because if like who's in your ad is going to put like a big difference into who it even gets shown to. Like this is going to get shown to primarily younger people, like bro types, versus the whales you're going after are probably going to be people who are, in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. And this kind of stuff, I know it's a testimonial, but that's not really going to play well. So either we need to either find people who, um, what is it called? But we either need to find people who can actually, make real testimonials for us, or we can go to like backstage and we can find different people to do it and like basically do the same testimonial or something if it's working as he did with the same script. And we really want to do that. Like, so for example, you know, he's a young white dude. We'll get a young black dude, a young Asian dude, Latino dude, and then the same thing with young women, and then old women, and then old men of every race, old women of every race, middle aged. Then we get some like fat, some skinny, and this really unlocks a lot of like when you're trying to scale. At least doesn't really matter right now. But a lot of people will just not scale past a certain number. And there's no specific number I have in mind, but they'll just cap out their ads. They'll be like, okay, it's 4,000 a day. Every time I go higher with my ads, the ROAS goes like 90% down, right? Do you know what I mean? So then you unlock a lot of other um, potential like TAM, I guess you'll say, by having all these different people. Because one of my biggest clients at my last agency was they sold like a seaweed supplement. I can't remember what it was, but it was just no, it was sea moss. No, I don't want to pull up the client name here. CMOS supplement. I don't know. It was something like this. It was a CMOS supplement. And the business owner was a black guy. And just like 99% of their clients were just black people. The owner was a black guy. All of his ads had just black men and black women in them. And he's like wondering, why can't I scale? And like black people are not the only people who are going to get a CMOS supplement, right? So I told him like this is the reason, and then he didn't believe me, but he believed me enough to try it anyway. So he got, I think, 100 different UGC videos with just every like demographic you could think of, like race, gender, age, weight, like sexuality, and everything. And now his ads would just start showing to more people like that, and he was able to almost triple his ad spend with no other changes, just because Facebook's algorithm is now showing it. So that's not going to be a problem for you until you get to, I would say, several $1,000s per day at least. But I think this right now is a problem for you in the sense that if you're looking for the whale people and not just people who are going to get 1 to 2 callers from you, like the whale people, I would safely assume are not going to be looking like this guy, just for example. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So let's see some of this stuff. I like this at the top quite a bit. We might want to make sure that doesn't get cut off or um like covered, like depending on what view you have or like what device and stuff you have on Facebook and Instagram, this might be covered by like the profile name and stuff, especially on Reels. So just make sure that's not the case. Maybe like try and test it. One thing I would say about just the editing is like this is kind of hard to read in my opinion. Like when it turns yellow or green. I really like it because the three main things that are going to affect your ads are like number one is going to be your energy, and you have great energy in these. Number two is going to be your conviction, and you have great conviction. And number three is going to be your pace. And I think you do a very good job at all three of these, and the editing is great. So, yeah, I think that looks brilliant, to be honest. So, we'll go over it later, but how are these ads doing? Are you booking calls from these ones too?
No, they're actually all coming from the selfie ones right now. So if you scroll
Okay.
down to the bottom, that one on the left right there, the one where it's
Mhm.
how'd you get 13 contracts, that is probably 80% of the impressions and where all the calls have come from so far.
Got it. So, are all these in one campaign too?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just like putting the spin to those ones basically?
Yeah, as I told you, like I don't know what the hell I'm doing with these ads. I
Sure.
just threw them into one ad set, one
We'll do
campaign,
that later.
and I'm just letting the algorithm do its thing.
Yeah, like you could tell this guy knows how to make these videos. Like this is like crisp cuts and editing where there's not like any waste. And he actually is like the script of this. I don't know if he has a script or not,
Yeah, so
but
I wrote the scripts for it.
okay. So you wrote the scripts for it, and these are like way different than these scripts, or these are the same
Yeah,
scripts?
so Calvin, he's a client, sends over a lot of people to us, and because it kind of falls under the partnership, so we have a affiliate partnership with him. One of his videos that went viral, got like 60,000 views, was very similar to the way that we structured the ad. So we took that ad that he had, or not that ad, that video that went viral. I got the transcript, and then leveraging the script that I had for the ads of me, tried to tailor it so that it looks very similar to how he filmed it, as well as what went viral, but also with some of the advertising stuff that we needed to get in point.
Okay, I got it. The same feedback for this one as the other one. You should like just put captions right here and like
Mhm.
edit in one of those hooks, like a visual hook, and I bet you it will double the amount of people who actually click on it.
Mhm.
So if these aren't working, we just kind of gotta like just try some other stuff at this point because there's not a lot to like when you're first starting out at advertising. There's not a lot of optimizations to work because you have to make it work originally at the start, and that just means trying a bunch of different
Mhm.
ads. So I would just say until you like what I would do until you really, because you probably have some cash to invest, until you really find out what works with you in it, just like make the videos like this for him. And then once you really find out, then you can have a nice ad edited like that instead of having to script it all out and then wait for the edit and then try to do it. So just like at the start, just do it like that, in my opinion.
Mhm. What would you suggest, changing? Is it different scripts? Is it different bodies? A combination of just seeing what works? Or is there specific things that I should be trying out?
I think the some of the footage could be more related to actually what you're trying to do, as opposed to like just playing pool. Um, I think you could have a lot of more real estate graphics, especially in the first like 1 to 5 seconds. Like you could put your face here, second one, and then like second maybe two. Then you have like real estate deals and like or just stuff with money coming out. That could be a good one. Like the hooks are pretty good in my opinion. Like especially with the visuals, but the hook is becomes meaningless if it doesn't really relate or doesn't capture the right kind of person. And I suspect that a lot of these hooks are not going to be capturing the right type of person just because we need to get some visual footage. People are going to understand like what you're talking about visually a lot faster than what they're talking about with audio or text here. Something that I would also do on all of these ads is the ad copy is not as important as the creative. And one thing that I would do here is I would definitely stuff when it makes sense, at least like the word real estate in here. especially generate 60 to 120 like real estate leads per month or however you want to frame it,
Hmm.
because this is not as important as the creative. Like this is not like a newspaper ad where it's the whole ad or something. Like if you stuff the word, or at least not stuff, but have the target market even more specifically in these, a lot of the case, it's going to actually help who is going to show to. I never believed that until I actually tried it in so many times and it never failed, especially when you're advertising like B2B with lead gen things. With e-commerce, it's not as important, but for this, it definitely is. So I think that's all of our ads here. Do you want to go over and show your screen and like see what the ad account looks like for this?
Yeah.
So let's go to let's go all the way out to the campaign if we can. Okay, so when did you start this?
It has officially been 14 days.
Okay, so like this month though, right? So this
Yeah.
timeline is good.
Yeah.
So basically, we're doing add to landing page, and we'll go over the landing page after. Actually, let's go over the landing page quickly right now if you can unshare your screen. That'd probably make more sense. So they're all going to this landing page, and when we're doing the landing page, we really want to like look at it on both views, 360 um, pixels across times I think it's 500 and some. We'll just go 500. It's typically what you're going to get like the new iPhones. It's going to be something around that. So that's usually what I do. And this is not going to be a perfect thing, but it's going to be decent as well. So based on like, because I saw there you have like 280 clicks or something and 6 calls, or is it more than that?
Let me pull it up again. So yeah, 285 clicks. For real conversions, the pixel accidentally got triggered twice in a test, and those are
Got it.
qualified because we run them through the type form. But I set
Yep,
like another 6 or 7 disqualified ones just to
got it.
get them on the
So let's
calendar.
go through it. Let's just go see how it works for now. So we have our landing page. You have your VSL. Let's go book a call. Let's put my name and stuff in here. So we have that. Let's put my phone number. Don't text me, please, if you're watching this. Go okay. So is your real estate business doing at least 2 deals per month or 10K per month in revenue? I would probably put this as the very first question. Just
Hmm. Yeah, so on the type form, we have partial submit. So the philosophy behind it was like, hey, for the people who start, put their information in, and then go back, we at least have the ability to call them and then sell them on our like entry level offer, which is kind of an
mhm,
expedited process, a little bit more information on how to get your first deal. Because a big objection that we get on the sales call is, I'll get VAs. It sounds awesome. I just got to get my first deal first. Not only do they prove to themselves they can do it, but they also have capital. So we built a program that will help them expedite their process to getting their first deal.
I got it. So usually I would not recommend putting their name and stuff first. I put that at the very end because
Mhm,
that's going to be the most point of resistance in this is giving you, especially their phone number. And
mhm,
if they put it at the end, they've already answered all these questions. They're not going to be as likely to give up and just
mhm.
exit out this form. So I would probably do that. Right. That's the start thing. Are you interested in done for you cold calling or a VA placement? Because you're doing it on ads and they're going to be like you get a wide variety of IQ levels with these, I'd probably like put this to actually the word done for you and then in
Mhm.
brackets we do it for you and then put a VA as like virtual assistant placement. I know you have it right here, but 80% of people only are going to read the headline, to be honest. Not sure. And
So
this
we
this for example, I probably put like maybe one line what's better for what situation, to be honest.
Mhm.
What were you gonna say?
Yeah, so some people come on and they want that system where it's done for you. Some people want, hey, I want someone in my business, but there's a good amount of people who don't know what they want. So
Okay.
we'll go into the type form a little bit more because I have some conditional logic on it, but
Hmm.
that really is an important question. It's more for us to understand, like, hey, when we're on the sales call, what are we pitching?
I understand. Got it. What is your consistent monthly revenue? Let's just say some mid level here. How are you? Let's just say I'm cold calling myself. Please describe your target. Is this an important question?
It has no points against it, but I don't. I actually enjoy having the question. There's some people who are like, I'm looking to get to 10K a month. Odds are they're disqualified. Someone who's going to say I want to get to 500K per month, even if they're only at 30 to the 80K range, they're at least thinking bigger, and it's easier for me to have a conversation with someone who has that grander vision.
Got it.
Because from all the calls that I've seen, the people that get the best results with us are the ones who have these big grand visions. They're willing to work their ass off to get to where they want to be. There's just some people who are infatuated with the idea of 10K per month, and typically we've seen there's a high correlation between really bad leads for the people who are thinking small.
Got it. Got it. I would say this is gonna. I know it's probably true because some people probably would pay that much if they have, but I would say that's gonna be an extremely unrealistic thing where it's gonna scare people away rather than like at least to a higher degree than it's going to price anchor them or give them a
Mhm.
range. None of this, so you get what you pay for. Is that within your budget? Yes. Is this a good question for people who want to get less than that? Or what do you think
Um,
about this?
it's actually if they hit no, they're automatically disqualified. But we're in the point right now where it's a fresh pixel. We are training it. I only want to talk to people who are of that higher quality, even if it's way less. I
Mhm.
haven't pitched a 4 caller package one time on all the calls I have. It's been that 1 to 2. So it's kind of just been thrown out of the way because the hook in that attention is that like 60 to 120 motivated seller leads. Because for a good amount of wholesalers, that's a lot of leads. That's going to get their attention. That's going to get them to click and go through the process. But I haven't
Mhm.
yet to have someone on the call who's like, okay, what's the package to get 60 to 120 leads? Most of the time, they just want 1 or 2 callers. And that's what we're going to pitch them on. Obviously,
Is
someone who wants that is preferred, but we just don't have enough data to see how much of an impact it has yet.
if that's the case, I probably would not disqualify them with this question. Like,
Mhm.
I feel like that's gonna do you have in your type form, do you have something that you can pull up when we show your screen, like,
Yeah, because
what the progress?
I actually set a lead today that was qualified, but they hit no to that question,
Mhm.
and therefore they didn't see the thank you page.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a good question.
Yeah, I could pull up the
Let's
type form right now.
let's pull it up when we share your screen. So now we have submitted, and now they can book a call, and then they can
So
do that. So are all of these in the United States? Or are they elsewhere around the world, like the clients at least?
99.999% are in the United States.
Okay, we'll
I have a
just
bunch of
say.
Canadian people as well, though.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying for time zone realistically here. So I want to schedule an appointment here just to see what the actual thing looks like after, but
Mhm.
I'll just put test so you can delete it. Let's pull this.
Yep, so that's the page that is, pixeled right there.
So this is the pixel page.
Yep,
So if you don't know what he's talking about,
or
normally
the
like
thank you page. Yeah.
yeah, normally like when you do this, you just put if you're gonna do schedule a call and you have like your offer is not just for anyone, like you're only going to want to pixel your like success page. So like anybody who doesn't hit this page, the data is not going back to the Facebook pixel. And this will make it so you can optimize your pixel a lot better instead of just getting like low quality leads. And that's part of the benefit of the type form is so that you like don't talk to people who aren't qualified, but part of the type form is so that you can control who hits this page. And that's like the benefit of having a high quality type form, right? So let's go through it all here. So where are we starting here? So we're going to here. Then I'm going to put this call here into the type form. If they say yes or they're
Mhm.
successful on the type form, they go to the Calendly, and this is the thank you page, right?
Yep.
Got it. So let's delete this. Let's delete this. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. No. Let's just really focus on the ads here. So, one thing that I think would be very strong here, and you are doing it relatively well, right? But if we're going to arbitrarily put this 160 to 120 motivated sellers, we're going to want to put that very high in the actual ad copy too, because a lot of this stuff right here is this, like, for example, is the headline that's not going to show on the actual
Hmm.
like Instagram app. Other than that, it's pretty good. Definitely when we get down here, like there's two main, thought processes you could do, right? You could have and they're both valid, they're both good in certain situations. The first step is like you have an opt-in page that you can at least get their name, email, phone number, and that way if they don't book a call, like you could send your emails to them and then you can nurture them and hopefully they book a call later. That's the pros of that. The cons of that are like some people who are qualified are not just not going to want to fill that out, and then they won't get to the next step. In my opinion, especially with your Pixel that's not really working yet, or that's like brand new, I would probably keep it the way you're doing it here. But the downside of it is like when you're driving all of this ad traffic, especially if you're spending a lot of money, right? Like if you don't have an opt-in page there, like basically what you're saying is, four people out of 286 who book the calls are going to get our email flows right now. Like the
Hmm.
other 90, what would that be? 98 points, we'll just go 4 or 98.6 rather, are not ever going to see your email flows. But when you do it like this and you have the start of it, at least, you might get a 20, 30, 40% opt-in rate, and then you might basically use those email flows over time to get them into the stuff. So based off this alone, like type 4 beside, this is not a great opt-in rate. So like we kind of want to preface like looking at this stuff with that. And like just visually speaking, most people are going to be on mobile, so it's not going to be as big a deal. But this is very difficult to even know where to look on desktop. I would say like this is going to be um, you're going to do a lot better if you just do have something that is going to be like who, what, when, where, why, how, just like sentence by sentence, and then have all of your proof like that. Like you kind of have it, but it's just hard to like know where to look. Like assuming that you click on ads, you don't know who you are, you don't care about you at all, that kind of stuff. And then I would always have this like not two across, just like in one line here, because we really want to try to get that uh, opt-in rate or that call booked rate up quite a bit, because that's really not like it might be okay because you are good at sales and you have a good like LTV, but at the same time, like we could probably get 3 to 4 times as many calls by fixing up this page a little bit. So for real estate agents or for real estate wholesalers, investors, fix and flippers, like I would definitely put this in your ads, especially like here, and I put the word real estate there for sure. Like, and I would do something like, you know, let's see here. I would change this to, are you a real estate wholesaler, investor, or flipper looking for more leads? Like I would change the first line, to be something like that as opposed to um, what you have there on the ad thing. Because a lot of the time, this emoji is going to be a distraction, the caps is going to be a distraction, and this is just going to be a lot more natural to read in English, at least. There's certain languages where there's nuance and it's better to have it what you have, but English, instead of like do, are you a real estate wholesaler, investor, flipper? Yes, I am. Are you looking for more leads? Yes, I am, is what they'd be thinking. And then you kind of have like, in my opinion, way too many like hooks. These are almost all like different hooks. And looking to build leverage and generate leads on autopilot, I think that's kind of a meaningless thing. Sick of heavy accent VAs that scare the sellers away. I would say that's a very strong hook too. But I think you just have like too many different hooks there. A lot of people will, like about 45% of people will click see more, like before they click on, like of the people who actually do an outbound click, they're going to see more and like read this. So I think we could clean that up a bit. Um, what does he have here as his hook? Yeah. So his hook is, how did you get 13 contracts in a week? In your niche, is there a difference between what is the lingo or the language? Like
Yeah,
motivated
yeah,
sellers, is that how you're that's
yeah,
how they would talk?
so motivated sellers is just very niche lingo
Hmm.
because there's a difference between leads and then a motivated seller, even though they're
Okay.
pretty much the same thing. And then contracts is a direct outcome that someone wants when they use us because they need leads. You get a lead, you try to close them. When you close them, you get it under contract. Then you try to move the deal, and that's how you get paid.
Okay. So like the most we don't want to say leads here because that's too broad. Would we say motivated sellers, or we would say
Yeah.
contracts is which is more powerful in your opinion?
We're not guaranteeing contracts because
I see.
contracts is on the sales side. We are focusing on the marketing side, which is motivated sellers.
Got it. Got it. So I would have something like this instead, motivated sellers. And then I would definitely either put this with like a dark background, like just to visually separate it here. So if you go to, what's an example? Here, if we go to a different site here, oh my God, I changed my domain earlier and now it's all like redirecting like crazy. So something like this instead in your thing, just so it's a different background and you could clearly differentiate like what it's talking about. You could be like, you know, wholesalers, invest real estate wholesalers, investors, and flippers, just so it's like different there. And then we'll generate you 120 or 60 to 120 motivated sellers every single month. Probably don't need the periods here with our accent neutral. Is that how you describe it? Like, would they understand what that means?
Yeah, where it's just someone who doesn't have these like thick foreign accents.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. And then check out how we predictably get predictably motivated sellers. Like this first impression from your ad, because you have a few different ads that are working. And the one that seems to be working is he's calling it contracts. And I
Yep.
understand why he's calling it that. And I know you can't guarantee that, but we really want to make sure, like, especially because two reasons. One, congruency, like if it's different, like if it's different in any way, like we want to have an exact match here. If it's different in any way, they're going to get some weird feeling in their stomach just subconsciously. And the second reason is if they've clicked on the ad with that exact language, they're obviously interested in that exact language. So we have to match it
Hmm.
here as well. There's also a few different ways to do a VSL, like especially if you're looking for more whales. Like this kind of VSL is going to play really well with like the mass market people. It's like edited, it looks nice. But for a lot of people, for a lot of like especially whale clients, actually having like a deck with you just talking through it might be better as well for like actually converting. So if you wanted to test that, you would just go to like VWO or something and just split the traffic of, and then you can embed one VSL type in every page, and you can see over the course of however many clicks which one's going to be better. There's also like another way to do it. Then there's like there's no real way to tell which one's going to be the best until you actually try it. So I think what's his name? I think this guy has one. Like there's this guy named Jeremy Haynes. He'll call it a deck sales letter, which DSL instead of a VSL, where you go through it. It's not it. Oh, he doesn't have it anymore. But you can kind of like embed a Google slide in here where you have your presentation and it's just a Google slide instead. And I wish I knew who had one right now to show you what I mean, but it's basically like it embeds it there and you can just basically click through it and it will like flip the slides. It's just like if you had a Google slide presentation and you're just clicking it through. It's like those three types of VSLs slash like things for your website are really, in my opinion, like worth the test because in some ways, like on your website here, you have either like 5 slides in a deck or you have like 7 to 15 seconds to really like tell them all of the information. Like the people who are going to end up converting are going to be the ones who watched more of your VSL. But even if they only watch to 15, 30 seconds, like even if they just watch to here, you really want to answer the, what, where, why, how. And so they at least have like an overview or summary of what you're offering. And then you just might have something like here too, like what we do, why we do it, how we do it, and then how to get started. And then you have your proof instead of like all of this stuff that a lot of people are not going to read. Like for sure, the people who have booked a call are going to probably have read it all. But the key is to get like formatted in a way with simplicity to get more and more people to actually read it all, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And then we click through it. And same when we have our type form, like there's a good opportunity to have the headline again right here, for example. Oops. So we want to always match it at every single step. So we have it in our ad, we have it on our landing page, we have it the first thing in the VSL, we have the same headline in our type form. Um, we have it now that they've filled out the type form, we have it right here again. And now we have it again. We have congrats. Instead of your calls been booked, like you are one step closer to getting 60 to 120 motivated sellers this month. This should probably be with Wistia. I'm doing automatically. I don't think it's with Wistia. I don't know what it is
Yeah,
right
we have
now.
Wistia. We have Wistia on the other VSL. I can
Yeah,
get
but
on
just
the main
just do
page.
it here, and then confirm your call. I don't know if this is just me or it's like this. I have a pretty strict VPN, so it could just be me. But now we want to, instead of your, like you could do this, but in step 4, you want to like put all of your testimonials here again. You want to like give them the information here that they would be like thinking about or asking on the call anyway, if that makes sense. So we basically want to put, some FAQs here. We want to put some more proof here and all that kind of stuff. And let's go to this growth guide. That's good too. Match the headline there. So we want to match the headline throughout all of this. So let's do that here. So we have, like, to summarize, like if this ad's working, this ad's working. Just basically have it, put the visual hook, put the subtitles, and I bet you it's going to do twice as good. Go and try to find some UGC creators to basically read the script again for you. If it's doing better than what you're doing here, let's at least try it with different and hopefully older demographics who are more likely to have companies that need way more colors. And then we want to match the headline and like make it more clear and simple, in my opinion. You don't really need, especially with the target demographic you're going after, you don't really need that long of a page. I'd also have this, like I said before, as one line instead of two, so you don't have to like your eyes darting through these. And then booking a call, very good. You could also put apply now because you have an application. It might be a bit better. I'd also have this like put their contact information at the end instead, just because once they've kind of gone through it all, like I said, they're not going to want to go through it or kind of throw it away and not complete their application. So definitely have the headlines everywhere and all of that kind of stuff. Between like the call here, like when you're doing it for ads, I would recommend having a separate cal.com or a separate Calendly or whatever. Um, and basically for several reasons. The first reason is then like you can just, well, you could do this anyway, but I would always recommend you don't have any calls more than 48 hours out with paid ads, just because the no show rate will be a lot higher. You might have a good no show rate, like you might have a good show rate right now, but that is just like the law of averages. And especially you want to have a separate Calendly, because when you have a separate Calendly, you can use and you can trigger basically with Zapier or make.com, you can trigger like a pre-call flow. And if you do it with your normal Calendly, at least if you don't use the API, if you're just doing off the shelf no code solutions like Zapier and make.com, like this pre-call flow would trigger every time anybody books a call for any event. That's why you'd have it separate. And then when like in this 24 to 48 hours when they book the call, you just want to blast them with kind of like what I said before, FAQs, social proof, industry insights that like between them booking the call and them like having the call, they should be more pre-framed with this pre-call flow.
Yeah, I can
Um,
show you a little bit about what it looks like right now, starting
yeah.
from GHL and then the email flows. Let me share my screen.
So let's do that, and then we'll go over the actual ad account.
Sweet, sweet. So we start in let's make sure this is the right one. Yeah, we have this monster of a workflow right here.
Makes me excited.
So triggers, you get a confirmation SMS. This is a green
Can you
message.
zoom in a little bit or scroll in a
Yeah.
little bit?
So triggers, confirmation, you get a green text message. This is just like classic, hey, we got your appointment. We want it to be green.
Yeah, and I got that too for like proof. It's right here.
Mm-hmm. So then, depending on where it comes from, it's either going to go down to some of the ones that we help. Real estate agents, solar, online services, others. But most importantly, it's going to go down to the real estate wholesale flow. Boom, notification in Slack, ads master sheet, qualified. And then this is where the fun stuff comes in from. So this is the first email where it's going to be like, hey, thanks for the confirmation. And then it's going to send the pre-call resource, which is that Gamma doc. But then when we
Yep.
go over to ConvertKit, you brought up Jeremy Haynes, and I stole this from him. He calls it the hammer them flow.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's see, where is my sequences? This is relatively new that we added. So they get 18 emails over the next 48 hours, handling pretty much every objection that we got. So we took every sales transcript that we had over the past 2 months. We threw that into ChatGPT and it gave us a list of most common objections and questions in order from most frequent to least frequent. And that's how we answered these emails. How much? Do they really have no accents? A little bit about us, testimonials, how we qualify, all of these
Mhm.
little things that are moving them on further down the football field. Because, if they book a call, they're on the 20-yard line. Obviously, as a sales rep, it sucks when they show up to the call on the 20-yard line and you got to explain them everything. And then by the time you actually explain what you do, you don't have time to handle objections
Mhm.
versus, this email flow is trying to move them as fast as possible. So combine that with the Gamma doc, and that's how we're getting people at, the 60, 70-yard line. We don't have the social proof or the content status yet that maybe some of these other offers have using the same methods, but that's what we're
Yep.
just trying to build out. So back to the GHL flow, we also have Send Blue, which is now sending blue text messages. And this has helped increase our show up rate by 10% already.
Yeah, it's pretty sad that that's so true, eh?
Yeah, so send blue, and then we just have a bunch of these other messages. And if they don't reply, we send some more. If they reply and confirm, we're all good. And so far, in terms of ads that have been qualified leads, it's been 100% show up rate so far,
Mhm.
4 for 4. We get a bunch of disqualified leads, and I still call and set. If I'm gonna pay $50 for a lead, I'm gonna get their ass on the calendar. Those don't show at all, which is with the same flow, same everything, but that's why they're disqualified. Typically, the more disqualified the prospect, the less likely they are to show up. Anybody
Mhm.
who is competent and understands how a calendar works, odds are they're showing up 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, and you're like a good person to talk to because a lot of just normal agency owners would not have anything like this, but I guess that's your service, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's very good. So the only thing that's like not is cause for concern. Like if you go back to ConvertKit, like it's let's see like the actual reports there, like of these open rates, and it like 18 is probably like an aggressive amount to be honest, but but yeah, it's better than having none or not like enough. And I
Mm-hmm.
love yeah, I follow the hammer them strategy like Jeremy Haynes when he does that. Like that in his like deck sales letter have worked very well for me over the last year maybe. Do you also do retargeting ads as part of this, or you're getting them up?
We just launched ads for the first time ever. This is my first time I've ever run any type of ad except for when I was back in college and
Mhm.
I searched up how to make money online and it said affiliate marketing. So I tried to do some like ClickBanks shit and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Other than
Yeah,
that, I've never run ads before.
that's my main business of paid media buying affiliate. So yes, so that looks good for now. Let's go into your ad account and actually like look at the numbers because that's probably going to be the most important part here. So basically, what is that total spend? So that's what 600 and let's see.
$680, I believe, is what we're at
So
right now.
$680 basically, and then it's divided by 4, right?
Yep.
So 170 costs, and these are all qualified.
Yeah, these are all qualified. So
So
let me
$170 per qualified call, and then you've closed one maybe.
yeah, so I had the fourth call today.
Mhm.
And, before we hopped on here, I got the verbal consent that he was going to be paying. Contract and invoice was already sent out, and he's texting me right now saying, "Hey, can you fix some things?" So pretty much good to go.
Pretty much good to go. So with paid ads, and it kind of depends, but I will typically like, you're doing these calls, right?
Yep. And then I have one
S-
sales rep as well.
So typically, like, you're probably better at training sales reps than most people, but typically, like from paid ads, you're going to get something like 25 to 40% close rate as the founder, mostly closer to 25%, if unless you're like sick as fuck. And then as a rule of thumb that I usually do, and it's usually pretty accurate, like that, all of your sales reps with paid ads are going to get roughly half your close rate as the founder. And I know like this is very early, so we can't say that you haven't closed those other three, right? Like
Hmm.
we could close them, right?
Yeah.
But let's just say it's 25% right now. So if it's 25%, you know, basically your customer acquisition cost is going to be like what you have here. So, 170 divided times four, like $680 is your current customer acquisition cost. So in some ways, like your LTV is going to be several times more than that. Some
Yeah,
ways,
it's
like
around
this
eight and a
is
half K.
good enough. Yeah. So in a lot of ways, like people watching this, like this is already good enough. Like you could just leave these ads, turn up the ad spend, and just based on pure math, like it's going to be good enough. But that being said, like the main thing I see from these things, so let's go left to right, because I think I told you to set up these columns already, right? So
Yep.
in my columns, I always use CPM, CTR all, which is they clicked on anything like see more, they clicked on your profile, they clicked on outbound, they clicked on like whatever, comments. Outbound CTR is the percentage of people who click to your website. Outbound clicks, percentage to your website, cost per outbound click for sure. Results will be whatever you do.
Yeah,
So in this case,
they should be four.
so this case it would be scheduled though, and then we'd set up our ads for schedule here. If we were doing lead magnet ads, we do leads. If we were doing application or registration, we'd be doing that, like for a webinar or something. Our result rate is the percentage of people who do the result as outbound clicks. So in this case, schedules. Hook rate is people who do 3 seconds or more. Through play is 15 seconds or more, or if the ad is less than 15 seconds, like the full ad, and then the amount spent is the amount spent. So basically, what we're saying here is if we do 4 divided by 286, we have a 1.39% result rate. And even with a like a really strict type form like that is going to be your main constraint here. So basically what we're doing here, if you go scroll left, our main constraint is going to be our landing page. So we really want to, the first thing I always do is do 3 variations of the landing page, or 2, the main headline, a different headline and different headline. And then the next one I'm going to do is the edited VSL versus the like just going through a doc, like kind of chill VSL, and then a deck sales letter like Jeremy Haynes, like you follow. And then those are the first 2 tests that I'm going to do. And like when you get enough ad traffic, and it sounds like you are on your way to getting good enough ad traffic, like that is like where we need to focus all of our time. Like I wouldn't even be creating new ads right now. I would be trying to fix my landing page and trying to balance the type form to where people who are disqualified versus, just getting, opening it up to make it a little easier. Did you have those type form things right now?
Yeah, let me pull that up quick.
So do you have like, do you have the, can you go to the insights tab? Like if you go to if you like upgraded your plan in theory, like
No, I
here,
think I have it max upgraded.
do you have it? Well, this like that insights tab is, especially as you get a huge sample size, like that actually is very, very useful.
Yeah,
Um,
I have another. We have another one, and I know for a fact I've seen the insights there. So I don't know why it's not working.
let's go to results. Maybe like it's a different account or something.
I gotta figure it out because we were able to see the insights on like what questions they dropped off on. I saw
Yeah.
this before.
Yeah, like that's what you're really going to want to do. And I would suspect that last question that we went before, like, can you afford 10
Yep,
callers or
that's where the
whatever
drop
is.
off. That's where the drop off is.
Yeah, I would honestly like remove that, to be honest. At least try. And at least like, cause you're at the very beginning, you don't really know what's going to work. Like no one does at the beginning. And I would really do that because I think taking out that question might get you like 2 to 3 times the result rate right away. And your cost per call will go from like 170 to 85 or maybe even lower.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a very big thing that we need to be doing, like or trying. Like I'd probably do that immediately.
Hmm.
And let's go back to the individual ads. I want to see like the metrics and like what percentage of spend is. So so basically
Yeah, majority of the spend. Let me.
it's hard to say like if your ads are really shit right now, like the ones you filmed, versus like because they really haven't got enough spend. Like if we go to the result rate, like with that many clicks, you don't really know. Like especially with a type form that strict, like
Hmm.
it's just not a big enough sample size, in my opinion. So let's go to the left if we can. Do you know which of these? Do you have Hyros or something? Do you know which of
Yeah,
these ads actually got the calls?
yeah, I do have Hyros. Let me put up right here.
Ah, so it's really this. So
I
basically,
think
it's really
this one.
yeah, it's really that one, and that's your cost per qualified call, 150. Like it's really that one, isn't it?
Hmm.
So so some other metrics, like I think the action steps of this, like a summary of this hour, are like fix the landing page up a bit, just make it like easier to understand in the format. Do the first split test of variations of the headline, or let's not even do that. Fix up the landing page a bit, match the headline exactly at every step, like the question, the ad, the question on the landing page, on top of the type form in the Calendly on the thank you page. The next thing is to take out that thing on the type form, the last question for sure. The fourth one is to take that 13 contracts ad and add the visual hook and add the captions underneath his chin. And then the fifth one is going to be test the VSL edited versus a VSL of you just going through a document versus you embedding a Google Slides. I think those five things like are going to like probably triple your ads like effectiveness if I had to predict. And then you can just spend 5 times, 10 times much on ads right away and it will make sense for you. Like these ads do make sense for you quite a bit mathematically already. Like you could just do none of this stuff and increase the ad spend, but I think if you did those five things, yeah, 2 to 3 times for sure in terms of like going from 170 or I guess in this one 150 cost per call to like 100 or 50 right away.
Hmm. Got it.
Like
So
these are
keep yeah, so keep the ads the same, except for those little
yeah.
tweaks on the 13 contracts, as well as kind of like freshen up the appearance because we have some alternative UGC options for those ones as well.
Is it
And
from him
then
as well?
no, 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 it's gonna be from my brother Daniel because he has similar results as Calvin just from his experience wholesaling too. So
Okay.
we're able to make the same type of like selfie video and
Mhm.
not really be lying about the results.
Sure. Like try to stick to the same script and do the same editing for his too.
Hmm.
Like especially that visual hook. So we have the 3 to 7 like word sentence. Like this visual hook is going to be like it's going to show up in the thumbnail in the feed, or if it's in the feed, or it's going to like the first like even less than 1 second when they're scrolling through the reels or they're scrolling on the stories or the explore page. That's going to be what hooks them in. So
Hmm.
the 3 to 7 words like matches the it's like a turns the hook if it's a question into a sentence, and then one of them is a different color to like emphasize it, and then also put like either something that's more credible yourself. What was the other ones? What they're going to learn or before and after. Like what before and after might be good. Like someone sad in the background and now they have tons of leads, or someone who's poor and now they have tons of leads. And that's going to be like not even 1 second, like the visual hook. It's not like you just have it there and then it goes off and now it's just the captions under his chin, and it's going to be the more like you're going to turn that, outbound click through rate or probably your hook rate from like 30%, I think I saw, to 60%. And all else thing being equal, you're going to double your outbound click through rate and your CTR all. And you're also going to get, because the ads are going to perform better, you're going to get a lower CPM because it's higher quality. More people are clicking, better engagement rank quality and conversion ranking. And you're going to get cheaper CPMs as well as better ad placements. So I think you have a good opportunity to get to like $50 cost per qualified call, in my opinion, through all of this stuff. Just the ads, the type form, the landing page. I think it's going to be good for you.
Hell yeah.
But that's it for today. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Hmm. I guess, how do you develop the system to get all this information that you just spewed? Because, you make it look easy. As someone who's just starting out, I tell everybody, I'm a B plus salesman. I'm a D plus business owner. I absolutely fucking suck at what I do. And I look at, you, I look at Hormozy, all these people who I feel like can just like talk so in depth about all this high level stuff. If you had to reverse engineer that learning system to speed up that process to get there, what does that look like?
I'd probably just learn every step of the way there. Like, so you learn the hook of your ad, you learn the copywriting of the ad, you learn how to make a landing page. Um, I don't know. I just been at it for 12 years, and I used to like manage Fortune 500 shit. Like for the first like 6 years of that, where they would just have like $12 million or $30 million to spend like in Q1 of whatever the year, and like they want to see some results. It's like not going to be very good for you.
Yeah, but if we're taking a step back and it was like, okay, within those first 1 to 2, 3 years where you were spending all this money, but maybe you weren't as certain of what the fuck you were doing, what was that process like in order to like
I
raise the
yeah.
standard of your
I had
skills?
a really good mentor, which is not like duplicatable advice. I had a mentor who used to be the COO of Ogilvy Advertising. So it's like the best you could probably get for that. You know?
You gotta get
Like
fucking lucky.
yeah. So yeah, he was a family friend. And we started like a Facebook ad agent. He like retired from the New York life and like came home to where we live in Canada, and we just ran it up until he retired. So it's just kind of like that's the non-duplicatable version. But like all that appointment setting stuff, for example, and calling those that's your agency. But like for me, like my agency was Facebook ads that are doing lead gen, so I would have to know that stuff.
Yeah, because I gotta
But
get
if you
cracked. I gotta get cracked in marketing. It's
yeah,
the fulfillment's pretty dialed in order to get to those, multi-million dollar per months. It's just marketing and sales, because our TAM is pretty wide. It's not just
yeah,
cold calling for real estate. It could scale very much horizontally.
let me share my screen. We'll wrap it up here. Let's just do some like math, because you could actually like really figure this out. Let me share my screen. Do you know what your churn rate is?
Yeah, it's probably 30% right now.
Like monthly?
Yeah.
And what like let's get some numbers. So churn 30%. That's you gotta decrease that shit for sure.
Mhm.
So what is your let's just say
Average
so
order
that
value is around 1,700. Lifetime value is around 8.5K.
so AOV is sorry.
1,700 a month.
Okay. And then LTV. So
Eight and a half
LTV,
K.
is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because majority of my clients are these packages that are, 1,300 for 6 months. So after
Right.
6 months, it's around 8.2K, 16.99 for 4 months.
So
We
let's
also
just
have
say
some
yeah.
packages that are 750 a month.
Right. So let's just say let's go to ChatGPT. So let's just see. So basically, if I want to do 1 million, used to have to add this up. My average value is 1,700 per month, and I have a 30% churn rate. How many clients do I need? Might not be the proper way to word it, but like a better way would be like what target. So you have to have 588 clients at that numbers, right? But
Hmm.
you're also going to lose 176 clients per month due to churn. So we really got to fix that churn problem, and that's
Hmm.
you.
And I don't know if churn is, it's obviously always a problem with us, and the service could always be better. But just the target market that we have is these wholesalers where it's inherently a biz op, where the
Sure,
good amount of people that we get, it's like unsophisticated business owners. And it's not that the product sucks, it's just that the long sales cycle, they suck at sales. So they just run out of money before things materialize.
right. So let's just say, like, so you need to get, if you had this average order value, 588 clients per month, I would probably try to double the average order value somehow and get half of that. And then you're going to need to maintain a bunch of clients to like get that much, right?
Hmm.
So let's just say we wanted to get 588 clients and ignored a lot of this just
Hmm.
because it's going to be hard to do in a Google Doc without like ignoring a hefty amount of it, right? So if we had 588 clients, let's just say we maintain that 25% close rate, right? So
Hmm.
580 times 4, which is 25% close rate, which no matter how good you get, you're really not going to, at scale, going to be better than that with paid traffic or cold email, like any cold traffic. So we basically need, you should probably remember that here, 2352. Do I have really bad short term memory loss or what? So we need this many calls. So basically, if we needed 2352 times 100, we would need to spend 235,200 in ad spend over however long. And this is not accounting for the actual like churn, but like realistically, you're going to need 2,000, like a surplus of 2,000, um, 2352 calls. And then monthly, you were going to need, because we're churning 176 per month, and then we're going to need basically 704 calls per month to maintain once we get there, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So basically, we're going to have to get 704 calls per month plus divide that surplus by however many months, right? So if we wanted to do that, let's just say we want to do that 10 more months in 2024, right? 2025, right? So basically, if we did 2,352, my God, here, I'm getting wrecked, divided by 10 months is 235.2 calls per month, plus the 704 calls to maintain, right? And that's over time, over 10 months, that is going to get us those 2,352 surplus calls. I um, finally said it properly. So basically, if we want to get that, that is going to be 939.2 calls per month. So if we get it down to, let's just say we maintain at that $100 cost per qualified call, that means we are going to do, $93,920 in ad spend per month divided by 30 equals, you could just probably say 31,000 here just to keep it simple, equals basically like just over $1,033 in ad spend per day. Like if we just did this at those numbers, like we would get there to $1 million a month.
Easy.
Not like that's just starting at zero with just paid ads too. Like you're already at
Yeah,
200K a month.
we're already booking around 200 organic calls.
Mhm.
So that's
Yeah.
just real estate too.
So you could say like you could like just do. I would probably just focus on this math and just try to get this. Like, let's just say 1,000 calls per month with paid ads, and then use the other ones as like a buffer,
Hmm.
and then you'll get there for sure. Like you could get this to $1 million a month, even with the ads that you have right now, if you just
We just
tweaked
gotta
a
get
few things.
fucking. We just gotta get dialed in. I
If
got it
you
down to four.
if you increase, like, the rule of 72 is like a rule of compound interest. So if you do 72 divided by 10, for example, in the stock market, it'll take you 77.2 years to double your money. If you do this, so let's just say you improved your ads by 18%, you improved your Typeform by 18%, you improved your, we'll say Typeform Calendly thank you page by 18%, for example. You do your landing page by 18% and your VSL by 18%, you will double the amount that your ad spend is effective. And it's not that hard to improve stuff by like 18%. Probably improve them all by like 36%, or not even all of them. You could make your ads twice as good. You could make your landing page 5 times as good if you wanted to. And like that's how you scale. Because as you spend more on ads, like the performance is going to go down as it shows to a broader and broader market. But so if you wanted to 10x your ad spend, you probably have to, it's hard to say, but you probably have to make everything work 3 times better to get the same cost per qualified call with more ad spend. Just because If it's you're telling it to spend 2,000 a day versus 200, it has to like 200 people. $200 per day might get like the peak people, but now there's only so many peak people that are looking to buy this, and now it goes further and further out. So that's why the performance usually goes down. But anything else for today, you think?
That's all.
That's all? Okay. Well, very, very good. So hope that was useful.